Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode.
The theme for the last few episodes has been about making the coming days of the year beautiful. We saw why we need to become deep, set steps towards intentional living, get ourselves a head start, and be like a bug and move towards the light. Or, in other words, let these be part of your theme for the next year. These are all the tools and weapons you'll require to live a life that you're happy about in both the present and in the long run. Another very crucial tool is Viveka. It is so crucial that without it, you cannot use the other tools I've mentioned. Even if you use it, it'd be a waste of effort, or worse, you may get into a vicious cycle of trauma that originated from ignorance. Vaguely translated, Viveka means discrimination. It is the power of our minds to dissect anything and gain knowledge from it. It is the power of objective thinking. By the way, this episode is from the blog 85, Viveka, the Superpower of Objective Thinking. If you would rather read the blog than listen to this episode, you can go to my website www.sanatkumarnebi.com. All I'm doing when I'm writing these blogs or my books is engaging that superpower, Viveka. I've already talked about thinking and how not thinking has become the biggest problem for humanity. Viveka is one of the tools that is more accessible to us that can even give us spiritual progress. Jnana is way more accessible if and only if they can understand and learn to use their Viveka, the power of objective thinking. However, I am not saying it comes easily to everyone. In fact, since that is the opposite, we have this world dominated by ignorant minds like you and me. Objective thinking is not easy because we all tend to think subjective to our emotions and personalities. Now, I'm not saying emotion is bad. In fact, emotions can be great indicators or pointers of where we need to look with the eyes of Viveka to explore and grow in the awareness timeline. But when we think strongly influenced and held by our assumptions and emotions, we'll get trapped in a Maya, delusion. We've already talked about delusion in the past episodes. We'll keep talking about it. Many times, such powerful delusions make you feel as though you have practiced objective thinking and are still trapped in a specific problem. Or even worse, it may make you feel like the cause of your suffering itself is that you know something. That can never be the case. There can be suffering and pain only when there is ignorance. Knowing the truth can never lead to suffering and pain. It is knowing half-truths. That is when there is an adulteration of ignorance in it, right? This is usual tendency. Just because I know something, I am suffering this, right? That is the norm, I understand, but that is not true. I've seen myself and many people struggle so much because of such half-truths and truths they think they have realized, but their actions and lifestyle in general convey the opposite. There's a difference between the acknowledgement of truth and actual realization, and confusion between those two can cause a lot of suffering and pain. What one gets through practicing Viveka is pure realization. When you practice Viveka, you actually move in the awareness timeline. So, how to practice Viveka? Even though it is not something I can tell you now and you can practice tomorrow. No, it should actually be more interactive, and it's best if there is a guide for you to correct or make you see in certain direction in every step you take, in every thought process you do. But these pointers may help you in practicing Viveka. 1. Observe. Everything from what you hear from and see in the world to what you hear and see within. Talk less, see and listen more. If you are someone who travels at least once a year to various houses in your village, you can notice that the people who listen more and ask questions about your lifestyle than bragging about themselves are living a more fulfilled and progressing life. 2. Prerequisite data. How can we learn anything without having a database that can relate to the new information you feed in? This is the role of consumption. This is why consumption is also essential. Shravana, consumption of knowledge. Manana, contemplation. And then comes Nididhyasana, which is meditating upon the truth realized. These three are the steps or processes that lead to awareness or realization. To understand and analyze anything we are observing, we need prerequisite data. 3. All thoughts are assumptions. Do not affix any thought or an idea the permanent state of being true. And hence, 4. Question everything. Repeatedly. To ensure you are not in a delusion. Question even the assumptions you've already assumed to be true. 5. Planes of reality. You must know that there can exist planes of reality. That means you must understand that there can be truth on both sides of viewpoints. And you must realize the plane at which each truth is originating. Tarka versus debate. Both are probably the same, but what I wanted to convey is to discuss or debate for the sake of finding the truth, not for the sake of debating. I see most amateur seekers fail into this trap of debating for the sake of proving their point, even though there isn't even anything contradictory to debate on. Well, to be honest, nobody can teach you the art of practicing Viveka through these one-way connected podcasts. It can be taught well in real time, specific to your lifestyle and your problems. Practicing Viveka is a very practical skill and art that cannot be taught entirely through one-way communications like blogs, podcasts, or books. One can only be pointed towards and some key pointers suggested. I hope through this episode I could do that for you.
I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnahibi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.